Kim Rowe here with For the Nest, and I created this tray using the new Charlotte Stamp by Iron Orchid Designs. I hope you enjoy this project. Using organic white by Farmhouse Paint, I put on 2 coats and let it dry before going to stamp. So here is the new stamp. It's in the summer release of 2024, and it is one of my favorites. I love using it just as it is, but you will see soon how you can also take it apart and use it in individual sections. So what I'm going to do here is season the stamp, and because I just opened it and this is the first time I'm using it, I want to what we call season the stamp. So I peel back the protective coating that is on every stamp set that you get from Iron Orchid Designs. You keep this because this is how you will store it when you're finished, but I take a small piece of sandpaper, or in this sense I have a rad pad, and I'm just sanding in one direction and then the other. And once this is done, you do not need to do this again, just the first time you're using it. Right, now for the fun part, we are going to add the ink to this stamp, and then we're going to stamp it onto our tray. So I like to just make sure that I have enough ink in there, and I do. I haven't used this color for a little while, but if I did need more, I could just add more from the ink bottle that I have from Iron Orchid Designs. So I'm pressing the pad down into each part of the images, making sure that I get full coverage of the blue ink. You can kind of tell as you do this, and you can kind of see that you are getting the ink on the piece. If you're not quite sure, you can always just tap it with your hand and see if you are making a good connection with your stamp pad. Then I just like to kind of wipe off the edges if there's any overlap of where the ink may have gotten on the edge. This just helps make the impression just a little crisper when I'm putting it down. So I'm going to hover over where I want to put it. Then with my one hand, I'm going to hold tight and then use my other hand to just make sure that they're connecting with the tray. So I'm going to press with my hand one side and then hold with the other. This helps so that you don't get any movement on your stamp and it doesn't slide. You want to make sure that you kind of keep it steady. I do like to just peek on each side to make sure that it is made a good impression, and when I'm happy with how it looks, I pull it back. And now I'm just looking at the sides of this, and I think I just want to add a little something to each end to make the tray have design coverage throughout the whole base. So what I did is I pulled off one of the pieces of this stamp set, and this happens to be the paint brushes, and put it on a smaller piece of a thin mount. And these come in bigger sheets, but I like to cut them and make them smaller so that I can use them in areas like this. So again, I inked up this stamp and pressed it into the spot, and this just is going to finish off and fill in the empty areas. What I'm looking at here is what could I fit in that small little area down there at the bottom, and I decided to use this one, and this is the butterfly. And I'm just trying to figure out the, oh actually no, here I realized that my B in the middle did not make good connection. I must not have pressed on that area. So what I'm doing here is just matching up the B and putting ink back on it so that I can make the impression there. So it may not have been noticeable, but I noticed that there was an empty spot there, and I realized that the B never got pressed on in the area that I wanted it to. So now I'm going to add the butterfly onto the corner here at the bottom, and doing the same thing I did with the paintbrushes, figuring out the angle at how I want it to look, and kind of just making sure that it will face the right direction, because a lot of times when you have your stamp, you look at it one way, but the impression is actually the opposite direction. So just make sure as you're planning where you're putting your stamp that it's going to be what you're thinking. So on the other side, I am going to use the flowers that were in the top right and put them down in the bottom left, just to kind of pull the design together. And I'm looking at the area that I have left and looking at the stamps that I have. I'm trying to figure out what would fit there. And once I looked, I think the spoon and fork together would be kind of cute. And I will put those in the top section, and then I'm looking at what could also fit there, because there's just another small area that I need something. And so I decided to use another one of the ladybugs. So just figuring out how I'm going to lay that out, and then we will stamp it and create the finished look. Now that I'm happy with the design on the inside of the tray, I decided to just take my ink pad and slightly brush just the top edge of this tray to bring a little bit more blue into this design. So this product is by Iron Orchid Designs as well, and this is called the Gilded Etiquettes Transfer. It's a new product line that Iron Orchid Designs has provided for us, and that was in their new release, summer of 2024. So here, this one has lots of different just images that you can use, and so this has long images that I thought would be perfect on the sides of this tray. So I just cut them out, and then you use these just like a regular transfer. With the rubbing tool, you burnish it and press it into where you want it after you've removed the paper that is their protective paper on the back. Then use your rubbing tool, and it'll reveal the transfer once you peel that back. So it is beautiful. It's very gold, very metallic, and you will love these. They come in two different choices as of now, etiquettes and then the curated signs. We're using the etiquette set here. Look how beautiful it turns out. The gold is very shiny and absolutely amazing. So after I did that, I thought I just needed a little more gold. You can never have too little gold in my mind. But so what I did is I took a little gold paint and a chip brush and just dry brushed a little bit of gold on the top edge. And then I decided to use a tiny little artist brush and take that gold paint and highlight some of the areas of these stamp sets. So on the paint brushes, I did where there would be metal. I just kind of looked around and just decided where did I want to add a little gold accent. I didn't want to do the whole thing, but as you can see, as I work my way around the tray, I find different little areas on many of the images here on the tray. Finally, I had to add some gold to Charlotte's hair. I just felt like it needed something else, and of course, golden hair can't be a bad thing. So I just highlighted her hair with some gold, and that was it. I love the way this turned out. So the Charlotte Stamp and the new transfers and all the new IOD release is available on my website for the nest with Kim Rowe. Thanks so much for watching, and if you haven't already, subscribed and like this video. I appreciate it. I will be coming out with new videos very soon, so stay tuned.